Hello, this is Cheeky, and this is There Something You Have Missed? Originally I covered this topic in part 2. Now that it has reached the scale of 11 out of 10, due to the recent implementation of vilification/blasphemy laws, has been inactive in the ACT Australia, it must be discussed again in detail. The study they cite as an excuse for this abomination is one that measures how much you fear terrorism. The more you fear terrorism, the more Islamophobic you are. That's right, if you are afraid of terrorism, you are Islamophobic. So if you're Muslim living in Iraq and you fear terrorism, you are Islamophobic, according to a study by a Muslim. Ref 1. To put it simply, the reason why the West has been bending over backwards to accommodate large amounts of Muslims into their countries is because of the lowering birth rate, as I said previously. What they don't realize is that 2 generations from now the birth rate will start to decline in Muslim migrants as well. This is because of the laws that have started this exodus in the first place, and these people are far too stupid to realize that it is Sharia law what facilitates high birth rates amongst Muslims. If you don't enact Sharia law and enforce it in the Muslim populations in the West, the birth rate will decline just as fast as every other integrated race in the West. They don't have more kids because they want to have children. It is because they can have multiple wives and they can divorce them without paying alimony or handing over any of their wealth. If Western governments abolished alimony, capped child support at $500 a month suggested by Economists, Ref 2, and did not force men to give away fairly accumulated assets to undeserving parasites in divorce, assimilated races and those participating in this exodus would have the same birth rate as assimilated Muslims. Ref 3. It is not the culture what facilitates this, it is the law that facilitates it. If Western countries like Australia declared Sharia law, white men will be having children at the same rate as Middle Eastern Muslim men. Now this is not all government's fault and ignorance, it is big business and big banking demanding that birth rates increase to protect their income in the future. If you think this is a conspiracy theory, then tell me why every Western country is creating laws to protect Muslims, Islam, Sharia law and terrorism within their borders. Simply, it is that they have been told by economists, big banks and big business, is that the future of their countries depend on birth rates, but fail to realize that greater population, that makes them money, is unsustainable. They only care about having a workforce and keeping their economies increasing to oblivion. They see Islam as a way to do this. What they don't realize is that the people they're using to increase birth rate do not care about making money or working. They think that they're just going to start acting like white people. This would be true in delusion verse. They don't care where the children come from, they just care about a workforce. They want to continue using fossil fuels in increasing amounts to accommodate their profit and sustain it in their future. Lowering population density is what the human race and the earth needs, but they care more about making money than a better future. They have the politicians in their pockets because they're being either paid off or are too stupid to know what is happening. Instead of doing away with alimony, human rights violation levels of child support, and the unfair distribution of assets from men, so that they don't have to pay for the stupid and self-indulgent decisions of the female voter base. They would have stable families bringing up children, with the father in the home, and an increased birth rate, and a stable future without terrorism, if they just did away with the crime against humanity, called hiring quotas, and the division of assets in divorce. If you sit at home doing nothing as a house person, then you have been adequately compensated for your lack of work in food and board. If you want more, get a part-time job. To go full Alex Jones on this, and say this is only due to the elites, that being the 1% would be disingenuous. It is a combination between massive business and banking, and the ill-informed economists what do not understand sustainability. Secondly, it's about military hegemony. Low birth rate means less money for military spending. This can be understood from international relations neorealism. What all governments don't understand is that keeping up with the Joneses military is about population sustainability, leading to less demand, which means less profit for big banks and big business. This would lead to a better and fairer wealth distribution and life for everybody living in the West, but it is always down to hegemony, that is hegemony of military and hegemony of the 1% wealth. When it is explained in this way, you can understand that it is childlike behavior and selfishness. They must have the most resources than anybody else, and have the biggest military than anybody else. This is how the world works on the highest level. This is not a conspiracy theory, this is a statement of reality. You can find all of this information out yourself, so do it. If the West continues to enforce the laws that are in act now, Muslim men will stop having children too. Until laws are created and enforced like street harassment laws, censorship of freedom of speech laws, laws that pander to women, vilification, alimony, the unfair division of assets on divorce, non-50-50 custody, listen and believe rape accuser pandering laws, and the uncapped child support laws, men will continue not having relationships, marriages and children. This is why every man and woman of voting age should be opposing this strategy, or the only way you'll ever have a child, ladies, is to live under Sharia law. End communication.